I've been recruiting for almost 15 years and helped hundreds of people into roles. But for every person who is successful, I see dozens that never make it past the first round. And that's not because they're not smart, and it's definitely not because they're not motivated, but because they're making the same career mistakes over and over again. And here's what I have trouble with. I see incredibly talented people spending months, sometimes even years, spinning their wheels, collecting certifications, and applying for hundreds of jobs, but getting nowhere, and it's very frustrating. And the worst part, most of these mistakes are completely avoidable if you just know what recruiters actually look for. So today I'm going to pull back the curtain. I'm going to show you the 5 biggest mistakes I personally see people make in their cybersecurity careers, particularly at the early stages, and more importantly, should be done instead. By the end of this video, you know exactly how to position yourself the way recruiters want to see you, not just to get interviews, but to actually land the job. Hey everyone, my name is Luke Gough, and if you're new here, I've been a recruiter now for almost 15 years. If you're serious about getting hired in cybersecurity, then this video is for you. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the content, and let's get stuck in. Okay, mistake number 1. That's thinking certifications alone will get you hired. So let's start with the first one, which is the certification trap. Now, I'm not saying certifications are bad. Of course they're not. They're good. You need to get them. The Security Plus, the CYSA Plus, the OSCP, they're all valuable. They prove that you've learned the fundamentals, which is needed, and they definitely get you past HR filters, and they absolutely do help your resume stand out. But here's one of the things I see all the time. People will stack up 4, 5, 6 certifications, which is great, but they then wonder why they're still not getting interviews. Well, the problem is certifications alone prove you can pass a test, but they don't prove you can actually do the job. So that's why, and this is how people get mistaken. So when I'm reviewing candidates for example, a SOC analyst role, I'm not just looking at how many certifications you have. I'm actually looking for proof that you can apply that knowledge, proof that you can analyze logs, that you can investigate alerts. Can you document an incident clearly? Certifications don't answer those questions, but your projects and your experience do. And here's the truth. I've seen people get hired with 0 certifications because they can show their portfolio on what they can do. And I've seen people get passed with 5 certifications because they couldn't demonstrate a single practical skill. Now, I appreciate these are outliers there, and that's not always the case, but my point is having certifications alone with no project experience doesn't work. A mixture of both is what you need. So what should you do? Well, build projects, build real hands-on projects that show you can apply what you've learned. I recommend setting up a home lab, complete challenges on Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, or CyberDefenders. These are all great platforms. Document everything. Show me you can detect a brute force attack in Splunk, not just that you know what a brute force attack is in theory. So I hope that makes sense. So when I see a candidate who's done the SOC Analyst challenge on CyberDefenders and they've written up their process, that tells me way more than just another certification does on their resume. It tells me that they can think critically, they can troubleshoot problems and communicate their finding. Now this brings me to the next mistake, which is mistake number 2, ignoring the power of a portfolio. For example, GitHub, a blog, LinkedIn. So here's a question I ask every person I coach. If I were to Google your name right now, what would I find? Now, for most people, the answer is not much. Maybe a basic LinkedIn profile, possibly. Maybe nothing at all. And that's a huge missed opportunity. Recruiters and hiring managers aren't just looking at your resume anymore. We're Googling you. We're checking your LinkedIn. We're looking at for your GitHub. Why? Because we want to see that you're genuinely passionate about cybersecurity, or if you're just trying to get a paycheck. The people who stand out, the ones who get interviewed even without years of experience, are the ones who have a visible presence. They've got a GitHub repo with documented projects and scripts. They have an active LinkedIn where they engage with the cybersecurity community. This isn't about being an influencer, it's about showing proof of work. Let me give you an example. If 2 candidates were to interview for a junior SOC role, candidate A with Security Plus and a degree, and you had candidate B with Security Plus and a GitHub full of Python scripts for log analysis, plus a blog where they'd written up 5 Try Hack Me challenges, well, candidate B would get the job every single time because they've shown proof of their skills, not just that they've passed an exam. So what I recommend for you, I recommend start small, pick one platform and commit to it. Now, if you're technical, start a GitHub and upload your scripts and projects. But if you're more comfortable writing, start a blog and document your learning journey. Both are great options. And for everyone, this is an absolute no-brainer. Optimize your LinkedIn. Make it clear what you're learning, what you're building, and what you're aiming for. Your portfolio is your proof. Don't skip it. And remember, as recruiters, we look on LinkedIn. That's the platform we use the most. Okay, mistake number 3, underestimating communication skills. This is the overlooked deal breaker. So here's one of the most surprising things I see is when people think communication skills aren't important. Let me tell you, they can make or break your career in cybersecurity. And once again, most people overlook this. I've honestly seen technically brilliant candidates lose out on jobs because they couldn't explain a concept clearly. I've seen average candidates land senior roles because they could communicate very well with stakeholders. They can write clear reports and they can present findings confidently. Remember, in cybersecurity, you'll be dealing with people in the business that aren't technical at all. In fact, most of the company won't be technical. They don't understand the cyber jargon. They need people who to communicate clearly to them. So the reality is cybersecurity doesn't happen in a vacuum. You're not just sitting alone in a dark room hacking systems as much as some people think you are. You're working with a team, you're documenting incidents, you're explaining technical issues to non-technical people, and you're presenting your findings to executives who need to make business decisions, literally business decisions based on your recommendations. So if you can't communicate clearly in writing and verbally, you won't last. An example of this would be if a candidate were incredible at malware analysis, but in an interview when asked to explain how they'd handle a specific incident, they rambled, they used jargon the panel didn't understand and they couldn't get to the point. The hiring manager would probably likely think, they're brilliant, they're technically really strong, but I can't put them in front of clients. And look, that's just the reality. So what should you do? Well, I recommend practicing explaining concepts in plain English. Practice writing up your projects with clear documentation. Record yourself presenting your findings and watch it back. Use your friends and family. Practice doing this in front of a mirror even. It's painful, I know, but it works. Another option would be to join a local cybersecurity meetup or online communities and practicing answering questions and engaging in discussions. And here's a pro tip. When you're in an interview, structure your answers using the STAR method. That's situation, task, action, result. Don't just dump information. Tell a story that makes sense. I've done a video on the STAR method. If you check my my channel, it will be there. So if you're not sure what that is, check that out. Communication isn't just a soft skill, it's a core competency. Treat it that way. And if you're finding this helpful so far, do me a favor, hit the like button and drop a comment. Let me know which of these mistakes hits closest to home for you. I read every single comment and it helps me know exactly what content to create next. Okay, mistake number 4, not understanding cultural fit and how us recruiters assess it. So here's something most people don't realize is getting hired isn't just about your technical skills. It's about whether the hiring manager believes you'll fit into the team and the company culture. I know company culture sounds vague and subjective, but from a recruiter's perspective, it really is very real. And if you don't understand how we assess it, you'll lose out to candidates who do. So here's what I'm looking for when I assess cultural fit in candidates. Do you ask good questions? So I want to know who asks thoughtful questions about the team, the tools, the challenges, who shows that they're genuinely interested, not just desperate for any job. I look for, are you curious? Do you talk about cybersecurity like it's something you're genuinely passionate about, or does it sound like you're just checking boxes? I want to see, can you work in a team? Cybersecurity is collaborative. So if you only talk about I and never we, that's a red flag. And do you have a growth mindset? I want to hear that you're comfortable not knowing everything, that you'll learn from mistakes and that you're always improving. Now, if 2 finalists were interviewing for a SOC role with similar technical skills, let's imagine they both were neck and neck, but candidate A spent the entire time talking about themselves and their personal achievements, while candidate B asked about questions about how the SOC team collaborates, what challenges they're currently facing and how they could contribute to solving them. Candidate B would most likely get the offer because they showed that they were thinking about the team, the bigger picture, not just themselves. So make sure before interviews you research the company, understand their values, their challenges, their culture. There's ways to find this out. You can speak to people. Maybe you know someone who works at that business. Do some research online. I also want you to prepare questions to show that you've thought about how you fit in there. Talk about teamwork and collaboration in your answers. Show enthusiasm, not desperation, but genuine interest in the role and that particular company's mission. Cultural fit isn't about being fake or telling people what they want to hear. It's about showing you've done your homework and that you're thinking beyond just getting a job. Okay, mistake number 5. Red flags that kill applications instantly. These are the red flags that recruiters spot immediately and they're all completely avoidable. Red flag number 1, generic copy-paste applications. If your cover letter starts with "to whom it may concern" or your resume looks like you sent the exact same one to 100 companies, I know you didn't put the effort in. And if you didn't put the effort in on your application, why would I believe you'll put the effort in your job? In this very competitive market, little things like this can stand out. make sure you go above and beyond to make your application jump out at the recruiter. Red flag number 2, typos and poor formatting. Look, I get it. Resumes are tedious, and I'm sure you're sick of hearing this if you've sent out resume after resume. But if you can't be bothered to proofread your application, that tells me you don't pay attention to details. And in cybersecurity, details matter a lot. Red flag number 3, overconfidence but without proof. Confidence is fine, but you need to back it up. So I see it all the time. I see people put expert in pen testing with 0 projects or experience to back it up. So be honest about your level. It really is okay to say you're a beginner who's eager to learn. That's not a problem. Be honest. But what it's not okay is to oversell yourself and then bomb the technical interview. Red flag number 4, applying to jobs you're clearly not qualified for. If the job posting says 5 years of SOC experience and you have 0, don't apply. And trust me, lots of people do. You're wasting your time and you're wasting the recruiter's time. There's a big difference between stretching yourself and being unrealistic. Focus on roles you can actually land. Red flag number 5, no follow-up or poor communication. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, if a recruiter reaches out to schedule an interview and you take 3 days to respond with no explanation, there's a red flag. Obviously, things happen in life. If there is a genuine reason why you haven't come back, that's absolutely fine. But if you just don't respond and turn up 3 or 4 days later with, sorry, I missed your email, it shows that how prepared are you? How interested are you in that role? It's a red flag. Cybersecurity roles require reliability and professionalism. Show that from day one. So going forward, this is what I want you to do. I want you to tailor every application. I want you to research the company and customize your resume and cover letter. Make sure you proofread everything multiple times. Get someone to do it for you if you need to help you in case you've missed something. Be honest about your skills and your level. It is fine. Honestly, just be honest and apply to roles that match where you are actually in your career. Make sure to communicate promptly and professionally from the first interaction. These might seem like small things, but they add up. Don't let easily avoidable mistakes kill your chances before you even start, especially when it's a very candidate-driven market and there's lots of competition out there. So there you have it, the 5 biggest mistakes I see people make in their cybersecurity careers, and more importantly, what you should do instead. Now let's recap. Number 1, don't rely on certifications alone. Build hands-on projects. 2, create a portfolio. GitHub, blog, LinkedIn, whatever it is, make yourself visible and show proof of your skills. Number 3, develop your communication skills. Listen, they're just as important as your technical abilities, so don't underestimate them. 4, understand cultural fit. Show you're curious, collaborative, and genuinely interested in the role. And 5, avoid red flags. Make sure you tailor your application, proofread, be honest, and communicate professionally. Here's the bottom line. Breaking into cybersecurity isn't just about what you know, it's about how you present what you know, how you demonstrate your skills, and how you show up in the whole hiring process. But the good news is every single one of these mistakes is fixable. You're not stuck. You just need to know what recruiters are actually looking for. Now you do. If you found this helpful, I really hope you did. I've got plenty more content on my channel that will talk you through the interview process and how to break into cybersecurity. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you all for watching. As always, keep leveling up your career, and I'll see you on the next video.